And what this talk's going to be about is my inspiration behind my latest piece, the polyhedra. And it's very much wanting to unify nature and technology. And so, and that way, we create a sense of belonging in our world. So you might say, well, you know, we've been using geometry for 5,000 years and look at the mess we've created with the melting polar caps and so on. But if you look at the last 100 years or so, we've really been creating boxes, lots and lots of boxes, very dead geometry. And when we turn to nature, you know, we can have deep reverence and awe at the incredibly beautiful and economic, poetic structures that nature creates. And this, for me as a designer, is deeply inspiring. This is a photograph from a scanning electron microscope of a human hip bone. And these are pollen spores. Just imagine if our built environment looked something like this, would we not feel more at home in our world and more at home in ourselves? So I took this as a departure point and wanted to find the hidden geometry behind these forms. And I'm not the only designer that's inspired by organic geometry. This is Mark Newson's limited edition series exploring the Renoy tessellation pattern that's used. It's the way nature creates space. And then this is the Borolek brothers' beautiful algae screen inspired by recursive organic growth patterns of the fractal tree. So here we are. We have designers looking at nature and mathematics to create new forms. And here is the world-famous building by PTW architects, the water cube for the Beijing Olympic swimming pool. And this is inspired by the nesting geometry of soap bubbles, as you can see in the top right-hand corner. The study of geometry goes far back to Plato's era, and in those days it was used as a metaphysical tool to expand consciousness and understand life better. And the dodecahedron is a shape I've been fascinated with for a long time, and I decided to begin my creative process with that shape and the Weir-Phelan cellular geometry structure that the water cube building was based on. So they're the two basic shapes, the dodecahedron and the tetrahedron. And there you can see how it can nest and the same two shapes can create an infinite structure, just keep adding on and on. And I also rotated it off its normal X, Y, Z axis so that it just became a little more sculpturally interesting, a little more organic as well. And then I also came across this mathematical thesis on the internet where the mathematician had been studying hyperbolic polyhedra structures of foam structure and the way nature creates on a microscopic level. And I applied that to those dodecahedrons. And at this stage of the project, I felt like Russell Crowe in that movie, The Beautiful Mind, where he starts to go a little bit mad. And I was looking at these forms and wanting to create a coffee table system out of it, and trying to find a way that I could split it and have as few forms as possible, but still have this organic feel. So I came down to 5 basic shapes after lots of work on 3D software and with those paper models. And here you see about 7 shapes over there of the basic building blocks that we're going to create my coffee table system. And then I've looked at all different ways to make it, and in a rush to get ready for the expo, turned to a CNC milling machine. It's a fairly new technology, but it's also old enough that it's become commercially viable, and it's quite cheap to cut out these complex shapes. So there you see the complex shapes on the bottom right-hand side. Each face that's machined off the CNC machine, and then it's hand glued together in the superwood jig. Even with CNC technology, you still couldn't avoid the hand completely, which I think is also nice. And there you see those 5 basic building blocks that I was telling you about. And what I liked about it, it looked like post-rational Lego for grown-ups. So each of those pieces is held to one another with those little round magnets, so that the user can play with the design and modify it to suit the space. And there you see the final image of the product, a coffee table that you can grow to any size or shape and play and have fun at the same time. And so that's my attempt at joining nature and technology and healing that split. Thanks.